I really love Samurai Shodown. It's the type of game that I've been waiting for years. It's got good depth with not too many defensive mechanics and not too much complexity. I like that almost every hit returns both characters to neutral. Even on a knockdown, the rolls go so far and you can roll both ways, so there's basically no block strings in this game. Unless you're like Wu with traps or Genjiro with card pressure. So the pressure is just the space and the threat of dash grabbing, which I'll get to later. The whiff punishing in this game is done extremely well, and you know me, a game that has good whiff punishing, I'm going to be on board with, at least to start with. Depending on the move you whiff punish and the move that you use, you get extra damage. So, for example, on a whipped slash, here you can see Charlotte gets 12% damage bonus from using her 236 slide. You have to let most lights and mediums rock since they recover too fast, but heavies, slides, and whiff specials all give you extra damage because when you hit moves in recovery, it gives you a counter hit bonus. You really have to split your attention between the ground and the air because if you're waiting for those big normals, you might be too slow to anti-air and vice versa. That's always a fun metagame, something that I really started looking into, like when I was playing Street Fighter Cross Tekken. There are players that can get you looking at the ground or looking at the air, and then they can attack you whichever way you're not looking. Also, during Rage Explosion, you get Issen, which lets you get a full screen whiff punisher for 70% life. That was definitely designed for me. I think it's a little over the top since you can guess and still catch normals with it, but it's still really cool. That said, the ground game is not the only aspect of Samurai Shodown, so let's get into the current metagame, or how Samurai Shodown is being played week 2. Right now, the strongest and most consistent way to open someone up seems to be with grabs, specifically dash grabs, because there's nothing really plus on block in this game to make someone block long enough to sit there and block during pressure to get grabbed or get hit by like an overhead. Also, from what I can tell, if you're close enough, you cannot react to a dash grab. I've seen this work online, but I've also seen it work offline, and I've done it in tournament multiple times. I haven't done it me in tournament multiple times. It's just strong. It's too fast. Even if you're mastering a normal, it's so fast that it will just catch the normal if you're trying to react to it. You basically have to preemptively jump or preemptively spam lights or long-reaching mediums to stop dashes. And speaking of jumps, there is a lot of preemptive jumping. You know that I'm not too much of a fan of jumps, but let's talk about it. Jumping is incredibly strong in this game. Jump back, jump forward, neutral jump. Most characters simply cannot consistently anti-air most other characters. There are a lot of factors here for why jumping is so strong, including the slow walk speed, so you can't really control the space that you're at in the screen to properly anti-air. But ultimately, most characters just don't have a fast upper body invincible or full invincible move. And the moves that should work as anti-airs don't have great hitboxes compared to their hurtbox. Some characters like Charlotte have like heavy DP, but like it starts up so slow that they're gonna recover by the time that you can actually be active. So you're gonna be the one that's getting punished, and then the light and the medium DPs just don't have invincibility, so they just get smashed. If you've ever tried to use a normal to anti-air Yoshitora, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Unless you're like perfectly spaced and you do your anti-air super early, a lot of times you're just going to get sliced by that sword. There's really like nothing a lot of characters can do about it. Still, the game is a lot about spacing yourself away from problematic normals and jumps. The reversal mechanics are not as powerful as Soul Calibur or Pokken, so unless you have a DP, you actually have to block properly meted attacks. Deflect is still really strong, but it seems to be active after frame 1, and it's rare to actually land it in neutral, which is most of what the game is. Also, that's a decent whiff animation. I wish that they would make the whiff animation like similar to how throws are, where if someone's throwing out something that's such a high reward option, that it should have a long whiff animation, and then I think you should get a bonus when you whiff punish it, just like you get for whiff punishing normals. But deflect also seems to be not frame 1 active. I also like how some weapon flipping techniques can also be used as anti-airs, and if you use a weapon flipping technique against an opponent, it will disable their Issen, their DPs, and almost any problematic moves they can think of, because most of the really dangerous moves in this game, you need weapons. Samurai Shodown is my favorite game right now. It has the ground game that I like, and reversals are toned down compared to other games I've played lately. Tekken has been my main game for the past 7 months, but even though I play for hours every day, I feel like I'm still way behind people who've been playing since Tag 2 and Tekken 6 back in 2008, and even before that with like Tekken 5 DR and stuff. So the complexity of the game and the legacy skill makes me really discouraged when I go to tournaments because I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. I've been like attending Wednesday Night Fights NorCal for so long, and I continuously getting better, but I feel like even if like I got like improved like drastically, I would just be catching up to where the other people were back in like Tekken 6. So I'm like, it's really discouraging when I go to tournaments. But with Samurai Showdown, I went from going 1 and 2 at the first Wednesday Night Fights to grinding for a week straight, just playing like 45 hours, to getting 4th at the Wednesday Night Fights just happened yesterday. Which I feel like I'm like never going to get 4th in Tekken. It's just like not going to happen. I think I really have a chance to do well in Samurai Showdown if I keep practicing every day. I have the same feeling as when I first started playing Pokken. I was like, man, all the work that I'm putting into this game is like paying off a lot faster than with Tekken. Is paying off, and I can like see it. I can feel the improvement, and I can see it in results. Of course, I'm still in the honeymoon phase of this game, but right now I really enjoy Samurai Showdown. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon with some more videos.